Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. So today I want to talk about a list I made of the top 10 things I think you should farm or go after in DDO while the content is free. So if you aren't already aware, until April 30th, 2020, all the content in the game, so all adventure packs and expansions, are all accessible for everybody for free. So it's a great time to look at certain items or adventure packs you've never had access to and go after some useful things. So did make a list of the top 10 things. Now you'll probably agree or disagree with some of the things I listed, or maybe there's things you thought I should have listed that I didn't, and that's fine. Just comment below and let me know. But in any case, even if you're watching this video after April 30th, I think this is still a useful list because it'll list what I think are some of the most essential things for any character to have. And these items are over the whole span of the game. So it's not just focused on in-game or mid-game or early game. This is just in general over the whole game. So let's go ahead and get started. So at number 10, I have the House Counteract Favor quests. So these are quests located obviously in House Counteract, and this includes free quests, but also the two paid packs, Vault of Night and Red Fens. So there's one really useful thing in House Counteract that everyone should get, and that is the free bank space. So for 150 House K favor, you unlock 2 additional bank tabs, and each bank tab has 20 extra spaces per tab. So you can unlock 2 for 150, so that's 75 favor for each tab. Now this is last on my list because you can actually do this with free content, but the reason I put it on here is because, one, it's even easier to do with the paid content just because you have more content, and two, I wanted to make this video also for new players. So if you're a brand new player, you may not have access to difficulties over normal, so it's a lot easier to run multiple packs on normal to get this favor instead of having to just run the free stuff. It might be easier for you. If you're brand new, you're not going to be running stuff on Elite. So if you're just running stuff on normal, you're not going to be getting max favor. So you will also have to go out to the paid content to get these bank tabs, in probably. So yeah, so that's why this is on here. But bank space in general is just super useful. So you definitely want to get these extra bank spaces. Okay, number 9 is the Delera's Tomb Pack. This is in House Jurasco, House J. And this pack is really useful because it has one of the best items in the game, which is the Voice of the Master, which is a trinket that, while equipped, gives you plus 5% XP on everything. So this is something that you'll want to use. I think it was also a pack that was recently epicked, so that's really useful as well. This version is also, or this quest pack is also voiced by Gary Gygax, so that's an extra bonus. So if you've never run this before, you can listen to him narrate it. If you don't know who he is, he's the co-creator of Pen and Paper D&D, so that means a lot to a lot of players who might be coming from Pen and Paper and trying out DDO for the first time. Okay, number 8 is Barrel Cove, which is a beach-like area which is accessed through House D, House K, or the Harbor. There's multiple ways to get into it. And specifically in this pack, you want to run the quest A Legend Revisited, because this quest drops the Jack Jibbers blade, which is one of the best items in the game. It's a trinket that you can use to raise yourself from the dead as a wraith if you happen to die. So it's an incredibly useful item. You can even raise yourself in raids with this item. It's so useful. It can save many, many runs. So if you were to die, you can raise yourself as a wraith, run back to a rest shrine as a wraith, and you'll die and you can raise yourself again. So it only lets you live as a wraith for a minute. But with this item, basically, it lets you get back to shrines if you die. It's so useful. You definitely want to have it. The reason I listed this at number 8 a little bit lower is because it is a very low drop rate. So it's not an easy item to get. But on the upside, while you're farming it, the quest itself is a really good XP run. So not all is lost if you're going a long streak without getting the item dropping for you. Okay, number 7, I've listed White Plume Mountain, the quest, not the pack as a whole, just the quest, which is accessed in the Hall of Heroes. This quest is the only quest in the game that drops the Spark of Memory, which is an item that increases your filigree slots by 1 in a sentient jewel, so that's very useful. It also has a very low drop rate, though. In addition to this, this is one of the somewhat newer quests in the game. It's one of the classic modules that DDO has made in recent years. It has a lot of other great in-game loot. Some of the best weapons in the game, such as Black Razor, which is a sword that drops in here. Very, very good. This quest also drops sentient XP gems to help you level up your sentient weapon to open more filigree slots. So it's really useful for that reason. So there's multiple reasons to want to run this quest, but very good quest to run. Okay, number 6 is Keep on the Borderlands, which is accessed in Korthos through an NPC. Right when you spawn in the Korthos, you can run this. It has both a low heroic level 1 version and I think it's low epic levels, like level 22 or 3, I think, version. The reason I've listed this here is because this is the only area in the game where you can farm a mount. So unless you wanted to buy one from the store, you need to go to Keep on the Borderlands to farm out a mount. So with this pack, you go through the adventure areas, and there's items that drop from chests, and you need to collect, I believe, 10 of them and turn it into an NPC in Keep on the Borderlands to earn your mount. It's not too hard to farm out a mount. Only takes you a couple hours of farming at most, I would say. Maybe if you're really slow, maybe 3 or 4, but you should be able to do it in just a couple hours. And it's really neat to have a mount because they increase your run speed in public areas and adventure areas. You can't use them in quests, but they are very useful to get around, especially if you are a brand new player starting at low levels. You're not going to have the best run speed at those levels, so if you have a mount, you're going to be able to get around in the world much faster. Number 5, I've listed the Harper favored quests. So these are all accessed in Evening Star. It includes the High Road Pack, the Stormhorns quests, which is half of the Shadowfell expansion, and this also includes also other Harper favorite quests are Tethymar, which is also an Evening Star, and Druid's Deep, which is also an Evening Star. There is 405 max favor available from these Harper favorite quests. You basically only need 310. So with 310, you can unlock the Harper Universal Enhancement Tree, which is nice to have. But the main thing I think you want from here is the Harper pins. And you need 125 Harper favor to unlock a lesser Harper pin and 250 for a greater Harper pin. So these Harper pins are something I think everyone should have on their hotbar. They are super, super useful. What they do is they instantly dispel any crowd control effect in the game. So if you get hit with a hold or a dance or something like that when you're running any level of content in the game, so it can be even Reaper 10 you're running. If you get hit by a hold, you can click this clicky, this Harper pin, and it instantly dispels that crowd control, which will save your life. It has saved my character's life many, many, many times. So it's very well worth getting these clickies. So definitely go after them if you don't have them already. Okay, next is at number 4 is the quest Schemes of the Enemy from Vaults of the Artificer. The Vaults of the Artificer Adventure Pack. This is accessed in House Cannith. So the reason I've listed this is because this quest drops the Cannith Boost of Propulsion, which are extremely useful throughout the entire game. What these do is it gives you a clicky that what it does is it propels your character long distances forward in the air, which lets your character be able to make long jumps easily. And there are many instances in the game where this is very helpful, many, many, many areas. So you definitely want to have this in your inventory on every character. The exception being a couple classes, so like Favored Souls, which get this ability inherently in another form. So you may not need it if you run certain classes, but in general, for most players, I think you should have this. And even if you have a character with this ability inherently, it's nice to have another clicky for it. So I definitely think most characters should have this, unless you're like a Favored Soul or another class that gets it inherently, then you may or may not want it, but it's still going to be useful to have either way. Okay, number 3, I've listed the Vale of Twilight. So the Vale of Twilight is in Meridia, which first has to be accessed through an NPC in the 12, who will you'll then go through the Vale of Twilight adventure area to get to Meridia. But once you've gotten there for the first time, you can then access Meridia via a guild ship or the teleport spell as well. So why do you want the Vale of Twilight, this pack? You want this pack because play this pack because it lets you craft Greensteel clickies, which are extremely useful in all areas of the game. So to craft Greensteel clickies, you need to first of all run the handful of heroic flagging quests. Once you've done that, you can then, that flags you for the Shroud, and once you have access to the Shroud raid, you'll want to run this raid a bunch of times, and the first thing you should go after are these tier 2 heroic Greensteel Clickies. These Clickies, which you'll need to craft. It's not too hard to craft tier 2 Greensteel stuff, and especially it's not too hard considering the massive benefit you get out of them. The two most useful Clickies, in my opinion, are going to be your displacement Clickies and your raised dead Clickies. So you craft some of these raised dead Clickies, all of a sudden your character, no matter what class, can raise anyone else from the dead, which is super useful to have in parties. In addition, you get displacement Clickies, which are a huge defensive boost on any character, particularly if you're not a character that has the who has the ability inherently already to cast the displacement spell. So say if you're a wizard or something, this won't be that useful, but for most classes it's extremely useful to be able to cast displacement on yourself through a Clickie, which is a plus 50% concealment bonus to your defense, which is just incredibly useful and can keep you alive in so many situations. So you may want to craft several of these, so you can craft multiple raised dead Clickies and multiple displacement Clickies. They are not one-time exclusive Clickies, so you can craft a bunch of them and be able to raise and displace yourself as much as you want. And again, these are tier 2 Clickies, which are not too difficult to farm out, especially if you have people which running the raid with you that are willing to pass items in the pass ingredients in the chest, which you'll probably find a lot of people are willing to do that for tier 1 and tier 2 ingredients. Now, if you want to go on from there, you can also look to craft some tier 3 heroic Greensteel weapons or items, which are much more difficult in terms of grind required to craft, but they are very, very, very useful, specifically if you want to true reincarnate your character, heroic true reincarnate your character, because these items are really powerful for the minimum levels that you can use them at. So you can use, say, I think they're a minimum level 11 or so, and they're extremely powerful at that level. So they're really good TR items. If you want to go for that, go for that route. So next is number 2, which is the Ravenloft expansion. So Ravenloft is one of the newer expansions in the game. Personally, I think it's probably the best content that DDO has to offer in terms of quality. Gear aside, it's one of the best experiences in the game. So it's an amazing expansion to experience, if nothing else. And it has amazing loot for both heroic and epic and legendary, so in-game stuff. So just amazing loot here, amazing content. You can also unlock the Vistani Knife Fighter enhancement tree in this expansion, so you need 180 favor from these quests to unlock it. One of the first things you also want to do is there's also a free weapon in the wilderness area, which is pretty nice. From a wilderness area NPC, after you run the quest into the mist, you can grab this weapon right afterwards in the adventure area, so make sure you do that. Okay, number 1 is going to be the Masterminds of Sharn expansion, which is the newest expansion in DDO. The reason it's number 1 is because Sharn has the best gear in the game, hands down right now. It's great. It's amazing for both heroic and in-game loot. The first thing I would do if I were a player who were just starting to run this, is I would probably shoot to go after a 3-piece set. So in Sharn, there's some amazing 3-piece sets for multiple types of builds or multiple sets, which are just extremely powerful. So you definitely want to go after whatever set you want. But in general, you might just want to run the chain a bunch of times, because even if you aren't going after a certain set, there are just all kinds of amazing gear that drops in all of these quests. In addition to that, for 225 favor, which you can earn in this expansion, if you get 225 favor from these quests, you can unlock the Inquisitive Enhancement Tree, which was until very recently the best, hands down, probably the best builds in the game, or Inquisitive builds. It's been nerfed a little bit since, actually quite a bit since, but it's still, from all accounts, it's still a good, solid enhancement tree to have, and it's still a really powerful way to build a character. So yeah, guys, so that's going to be my top 10 list. Let me know if there are definitely some things that were borderline on here, but let me know what you think I should have included or shouldn't have included. Would be interested in reading that. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time. Have a good one. Take care and stay safe.